My boyfriend, who is 33 years old, and I, who am also 33 years old, have been together for a little over 1.5 years. He is introverted, but when he wants to, he can be extroverted too. He has never been shy with me and is very comfortable around me. Since we started dating, I've been very open that I'm very close to my family and we do a lot of things together and genuinely enjoy our time together. I understand he is not going to jump in right away, but I'm really hurt after he decided not to come to a barbecue we had at my house. His reasoning was because he didn't want to. We went out on Saturday and did what he wanted to, but when it came time to spend 4 hours at my house with family, he has met them a few times at this point. It was a simple no. I don't want to. Is he right to not want to come despite being free? He wanted to stay home in his room and watch Netflix. As more time goes along, it feels like I'm pulling teeth for him to want to take an interest in meeting my friends or family. I feel torn with him not wanting to be a part of or even try to mesh with people who have shaped me. Also, it's bringing up things in the past that have bugged me. At our 1-year mark, we never celebrated anything. He has no initiative to make me feel special or wanted. We both have had a rough few months. He was unemployed, and I was going through some mental health issues, but it doesn't take a lot to do something small and sweet. I keep going back to the idea that if he wanted to, he would. His family lives in another country and has no family here. But I don't think it bothers him if he doesn't see or meet me or other people for days. He is fine being by himself for days and weeks, to the point that I had to tell him my frustration that we don't meet up as often as we should. I feel he gets his fix in over a day on the weekend and doesn't have to make any other effort. We don't have goals together. None. We don't go on vacation, shopping, date nights, or have any plans to talk about our future. He is a go-with-the-flow kind of person, and when I ask him about something weeks or months away, I get, I don't know, we'll see. A question for men: do you all dislike planning? It doesn't have to be fully planned out, but I like knowing that 2 months later, I'm going to take time off or have something to look forward to. I have a friend's wedding that we can attend, and for me, it's such a big deal because I've always gone alone. This is my first serious relationship. I can see it in his face how uninterested he is. I know he has a type of love for me, but it's only for me and not for all the other aspects of my life. I can't keep lying to people about why he isn't here or where he is. I've never wanted a relationship at the cost of losing all the other relationships I have. Now for an update. Thank you all for the advice. I ended things with him. The reality of the situation finally hit me, and I'm happy to go do things I enjoy and meet people I care about. His petty self returned anything I ever got him or gifted him, which confirmed his nature. He even tried to convince me to stay because I'm old and we haven't really done anything horrible to each other. Yes, I'm flabbergasted, but also relieved to be moving on from this. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. A healthy partnership involves occasionally doing things you don't want to do because it's important to the other person. I'd rather watch Netflix at home than go to a family barbecue with my husband, but I do it because I love him and want his family to like me. A partnership also involves both parties putting in effort and planning. My husband plans loads of date nights and vacations for us because he loves me. It's not a men's thing, it's a this guy thing. And the thing is that he doesn't care enough about you to go out of his way. Comment 2. Not all men are like this, although I would say there's an increasing number of them in the 30 and older dating market. This man has been very open about who he is and has no interest in changing. Why are you with someone who doesn't share your values and puts no effort into making you feel special? Is this really who you want to spend your life with? Now for the update. 3 days after I broke up with my ex, I felt this weird mix of relief and confusion. I ended it for a reason, but still, I was scrolling through my phone, trying to distract myself from the fact that I just ended a 1.5-year relationship. Then my ex texts me asking if we can talk. Yeah, right. What could we possibly have to talk about? So I just ignored it. I thought that was the end of it. Nope. Family gathering this weekend. Just what I needed. I was actually dreading it. I wanted to see my family, but I also didn't want to explain to them why I was suddenly single. My mom is going to have the sad puppy dog eyes, and my dad's going to act all tough and be like, I don't like that kid anyway. Just let him try to come over here. I wanted to distract myself. So I decided to go with my parents and siblings. My younger sister, Kate, was super excited to introduce her new boyfriend to the family. They had only been dating for a few months, but she was already acting like they were getting married. My older brother, Jake, brought his wife, Rachel. Rachel was super pregnant. Seriously, she looked like she was about to pop. My other sister and I were joking that they were having a basketball player. So we all sat down for dinner, and of course, the conversation turned to relationships. Everyone was sharing funny stories about how they met their spouses. My mom asked about my love life, and there was this awkward silence. Yeah, you could say it's complicated. To lighten the mood, I casually mentioned my recent breakup. I didn't want to go into details, so I just brushed it off. Kate, trying to be supportive, suggested that I should try dating again soon. I was like, yeah, sure. Let's just add that to my to-do list with everything else. After dinner, we moved to the living room to chat some more. Then Jake dropped the news about his wedding plans. He was asking for my advice on something, but honestly, I was just like, sounds good. I wasn't really paying attention. Later that night, I got a call from my ex's number. What now? But it turned out to be his sister, asking about him. She mentioned that he was having a rough time after the breakup, and I was just like, yeah, I bet. At the family gathering, I noticed my mom kept checking her phone. I could tell something was up. After dinner, she pulled me aside and was like, can we talk? She had this concerned look on her face. She told me she heard rumors about my ex hanging out with someone new. I just brushed it off. I didn't want to believe it. The next day, I got a text from a mutual friend telling me that she saw him at a local bar with another woman. I was like, okay, enough is enough. I need to confront this dude about it. I called him, and he answered all casual-like, as if nothing was going on. I asked about the rumors, and he denied everything, saying it was all just hearsay. I could tell he was lying. At the next family dinner, the atmosphere was super awkward. Everyone was trying to act normal, but the topic of my ex kept lingering in the air. Jake even offered to set me up on a date with one of his friends. I was like, thanks, but no thanks. A week later, I got a message from my ex asking to meet up. We agreed to meet at our favorite coffee shop. I was feeling all nostalgic about it. I mean, it's where we had our first date. I got there early and ordered a latte, trying to calm my nerves. When he showed up, he seemed all distant and avoided eye contact. I knew something was off, so I confronted him again about the rumors. He finally admitted he had been seeing someone. I was like, are you kidding me? After 3 days, we ended the conversation with him expressing regret, but honestly, I didn't care. It was over. To answer a few questions, my ex did not have a history of cheating, which is why I was blindsided. It was shocking to hear from my mom about the rumors, but I initially brushed them off. After our breakup, I expected him to take time to heal, not jump into a new relationship. Aita for confronting my mom about her dangerous weight loss and getting blamed for it. Aita for confronting my mom about her eating habits and causing a family meltdown. My mom, who is 48 years old, and I, who am 25 years old, both have unhealthy relationships with food, which isn't new to mother and daughter relationships. I was diagnosed and went through therapy and treatment for binge eating disorder and am in a much healthier place now, both mentally and physically. On the other hand, I don't think my mom ever healed that relationship for herself. I'm currently on Wegovy as I was pre-diabetic, and it was a final resort after trying everything else. My mom has been on Ozempic for at least a year now, prescribed by a boutique pharmacy where she doesn't need a doctor's visit to get it. It's a very simplified history of my mom and me, but I think that explains all that's needed. Now, my mom and my family came into town for the 4th of July, and it was the first time I'd seen them in a while. I started to notice some physical changes with my mom. 1. She's lost a lot of hair. Granted, she recently lost her job and got another one, so it could be stress-related, that's apparently what her doctor said, but it's extreme. She used to have thick, curly hair, and yes, she gets straightening treatments, but it barely fits in one ponytail now. 2. She's the same weight I was in high school. I understand bodies are different, but being 48 and nearly the same weight as my 18-year-old sister, when you aren't typically built like that, seems like a very drastic change. 3. She doesn't eat nearly as much as she should. She claims she's not hungry because of the Ozempic medication, but it's intense, and I feel like her doctor should have stepped in by now. 4. She isn't working out and building strength either. She gives her monthly Pilates membership to my younger sister instead. I think there are potentially a few things at play here. I think she could be lying about her prescription and taking more than she says. She claims she's only been on 0.25 milligrams since she got it, but I know from experience that the first dosage is super low, and it's when you get up to 1 milligram that you start to see changes in your body. She's also hinted that she wants to get a higher prescription but only use 0.25 milligrams at a time to save money. But I think that's only a partial truth. She could be lying to her doctor or not going to the doctor at all, which is very likely. She could also be totally fine, and I'm just projecting, but the differences since the last time I saw her were intense. I know that was long-winded, but honestly, it's 3 a.m., and I can't go back to bed without typing this out. It's really been weighing on me. I really care about my mom, as complex as our relationship is, and I want her to be okay. Any advice is welcome. I really just don't know how to address this with her. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Approaching a sensitive topic like this requires empathy and understanding. It might help to express genuine concern for her well-being and gently suggest that she talk to a healthcare professional who specializes in eating disorders. Sharing your own journey with her could also show that you understand and support her. Comment 2. Not understanding that you have a problem is one of the symptoms of anorexia. It is extremely difficult and makes the situation almost unsolvable in adults. The treatment of adolescents tends to have better results on average because they can be compelled into treatment and healthy eating. It was not your fault for trying. It is just that this disease is incredibly challenging. Now for the update. A week after the 4th of July, my mom texts me saying she's feeling sick. Mom never complains about anything, so I knew this was serious. She said she felt really dizzy and asked if I could come over to help her with some errands. I said sure and went over after work. When I got to her house, she was just sitting on the couch, looking pale and tired. I was worried. Like, more than usual. Her hair was even thinner than the last time I saw her. I wanted to ask what was going on, but I held back. I helped her with some groceries and soon found a bottle of Ozempic in the kitchen cabinet. My heart sank. I checked the bottle and the dosage was higher than what she said she was taking. I'm in the kitchen, holding this bottle like it's a big deal, and then she walks in and sees me. I put it back and act all chill, asking how she's feeling. She brushes me off, saying it's just a side effect of the meds. I'm not buying it, but I just nod and go along. That evening, we went to a family dinner for my sister's birthday. The vibe was off. Mom seemed distant, hardly ate, and avoided eye contact with anyone. When my sister asked her if she would join the birthday cake celebration, she just said no. My sister looked confused. She didn't get what was going on with Mom. The next day, my brother called me, saying he was worried about her. He mentioned he noticed she's been losing weight fast and she seems really withdrawn. We talked about it, and I brought up her eating habits. We agreed to keep an eye on her. The following weekend was a family barbecue. Mom showed up late, looking even thinner. I tried to ask her about her health, but she dodged the question again. One of her friends was there and said how great Mom's doing with her fitness journey. I wanted to scream. I mentioned to her not eating much lately, and she got all defensive. You could feel the tension in the air. I felt everyone on edge. The barbecue went on, but it was awkward. Later, I overheard my brother arguing with her in the kitchen about her health choices. He urged her to see a doctor, but she insisted she knows what she's doing. I stepped in and said I was worried about her, but she reacted angrily, saying we didn't understand. Then she just stormed out of the kitchen. We were left there shocked at her outburst. The next day, I found a letter from her tucked inside a cookbook on the kitchen counter. I called her, but she didn't answer. I left a voicemail saying I was concerned. A few days later, she texted back saying she needs space and will reach out when she's ready. I was so upset. Thanksgiving came, and Mom showed up looking even more frail. Everyone was worried. The vibe was really tense, with family members exchanging worried looks. I tried to engage her, but I felt her walls were firmly up. She said she had a headache and left early. After that event, I saw that Mom had been skipping family events more often. I started to realize that this was more serious than I thought. I didn't know what to do, so I decided to reach out to a therapist for advice on how to handle all this. Edit. After my call, the therapist provided valuable insights. She suggested a gentle approach, emphasizing the need for my mom to feel safe talking about her feelings. The therapist also recommended that I share my own struggles with food to show my mom that she's not alone. I took this advice to heart and decided to be vulnerable with my mom. Eventually, she opened up to me about her struggles with her self-image and her past of disordered eating, which led to our deeper conversations. Aita, for staying with my boyfriend even though his family treats me like I'm invisible. Aita, for staying with my boyfriend even though his family treats me like I'm invisible. Long story short, his family is pressuring him to break up with me. We've dated for a little over 1.5 years. I met the family 4 to 5 months into dating him. From the very beginning, I've been so shy around his family. When I've gone to family gatherings, it's been difficult to keep up or even feel included. They opt to speak their language around me, even though the parents speak English. I think initially I did try a little to be engaging with them, but I never felt welcomed or embraced by them. To this day, they've never asked me about myself, other than, "How are you?" and "We haven't seen you in a while." This makes it hard for me to open up to them because I feel like they don't care about me. My boyfriend reassured me it wasn't the case and that I would need to be the one to ask the questions, as his parents weren't chatty people. During family gatherings, I keep to myself and don't talk much. My boyfriend has tried to bridge the gap, but it often is unsuccessful. The family believes I'm depressed or have some sort of mental issue for my lack of talking around them. However, when I do talk, the conversation isn't reciprocated by them. I often don't want to be around his family for this same reason. And my absence has made them perceive me as someone who considers themselves better than them and who doesn't want to be part of their family, which isn't the case at all. I guess my boyfriend has been feeling the pressure, and he told me his family has been telling him to break up with me since day one. He's gotten into arguments with his mom and dad about our relationship, and he doesn't know what to do other than end it. We haven't broken up, but I told him I can be more engaging and will try to overcome my shyness. However, he feels that his family won't change their minds about me. I guess his family is annoyed with me to the point that his mom fears his dad would be rude to me, which I don't know why. I'm always very polite around them and offer to help whenever I can. They've never asked a single question about me, and all of this is so confusing to me. They smile to my face and yet pressure their son. I told my boyfriend that the decision to break up is his. Since he knows his family better than I do, I told him it can't be left up to me. He's been telling me to end it, and I told him that I can do better and I won't pull the plug, so he needs to decide. I'm so sad. Something feels broken. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Now I'm concerned for the future of this relationship. Will it be me against the family? To add, my boyfriend's family wants him to break up with me because they dislike me. What should I do? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Think about the relationship they might have with any children you might have. Think about how medical circumstances or emergencies might go. You are worthy of a partner who will fight for you, who will introduce you with love and respect to his family, and who will choose his future with you. This man needs to understand that his next steps in life require and demand he stand up for what he values. If he values having a partnership, he needs to make that clear to his parents. If he wants to be an adult living for his parents' preferences, you can do better. Comment 2. Break up. His family will never like you, and it is not your fault. They want a girl that speaks their language. This is toxic behavior on their part. Let him go and choose someone whose parents like you and whom you like in the future, and that should be your boundary. That is no way to live your life, as you literally do marry each other's families, and if there is a lot of dislike at either end, it could easily break your relationship. Get some pride, girl, as you can do better. Now, for the update. It's been just over a week since I last posted about my boyfriend's family situation. Yeah, things are still messy, but I guess there's been some progress that I want to share. My boyfriend and I went to his cousin's wedding last weekend. I was super nervous about it, but I thought it would be a good chance to connect with his family and show them I'm not a total stranger or whatever. So, his parents were seated at the same table as us, which felt awkward to say the least. Like, I expected a little distance, but this was just super obvious. His mom avoided eye contact the entire time and only spoke to him. Not even a hello or how are you to me, just silence. I overheard his dad telling a family story in their language, and I felt so left out and awkward. I tried to join in by asking about the story, but they just switched back to their language right after my question. It was like my attempt to connect was totally ignored. I laughed it off, but felt embarrassed. My boyfriend noticed and squeezed my hand under the table, which was sweet. During the reception, I saw his cousin approach him and whisper something. I caught parts of their convo about how I was not the right fit. That stung a little, but I tried not to let it get to me. Still, I could feel the tension building. When we got home, my boyfriend asked how I felt about the wedding. I told him it was nice, but that his family seemed pretty distant. He agreed and mentioned that they had been pressuring him again. Apparently, his mom openly asked him when he would find someone better. Yeah, that was a real punch to hear. A few days later, my boyfriend invited me to dinner with his parents. I agreed, hoping things would be better. His mom cooked one of her traditional meals, which I was excited about. I tried to compliment her cooking, but she barely acknowledged me. Typical, right? The convo revolved around his siblings and their accomplishments, which I get are important, but come on. My boyfriend tried to redirect the convo to include me, but his dad shot him a look that shut him up immediately. It was so obvious. After dinner, I offered to help clean up, trying to be helpful and all. His mom accepted my help but made a snide comment about my cooking skills. Yeah, because that's the kind of stuff that makes you want to join a family, right? My boyfriend confronted his mom after I left the kitchen. It's not like we planned for the confrontation to happen. I just heard him yelling about how her comments hurt me. He told her that I'm not going anywhere and that they need to accept me. Thank goodness for him. The next day, I got a text from his sister inviting me to brunch. I thought it was a good sign, so I agreed to go. At brunch, his sister started talking about how hard it is for everyone. She admitted that his family struggles with accepting changes. I get it. Change is tough for everyone, but it's not like I'm asking them to change their whole culture. I told her I want to be part of the family and understand their concerns. She seemed to appreciate my honesty and offered to help bridge the gap. I really hope she can help. A few days later, my boyfriend and I went to his family's holiday dinner. I was so nervous about it, but his mom greeted me with a smile and asked how I was doing. I almost fell over from shock. We all sat down for dinner, and the vibe felt lighter. His dad even asked me about my job, which was a first. I almost choked on my food, but it was a good kind of surprise. So, things aren't perfect, but I feel like there's been a little progress. I just hope it continues because I really care about my boyfriend and want to be part of his life, even if his family thinks I'm some kind of monster. Mini update. His sister reached out to me later and suggested I join their family activities. I agreed, hoping for a chance to connect. We went to a local festival, and it was fun. His siblings were friendly, and they even teased my boyfriend about his bad dance moves. It felt good. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.